Right. So yeah, just say thanks very much for coming at the outset, and thanks very much to our sponsors. These are the people that sponsor, the companies that sponsor these events or are sponsoring this series of events at the moment. So Arup, the Pitch-In project at the University of Sheffield, which is actually no longer active, but the sponsorship has just carried on. They don't owe me, but they're due to host an event, and we just haven't organised it yet. So, but this is gonna roll into being sponsorship from the university or another part of the university at some point anyway. And Sheffield University, that have come on board, starting with this event, and particularly and specifically the smart computing course, and Sheffield Digital, who have always supported this event in kind, if not financially, with promotion and everything else. This is just so this is the Smart Sheffield news segment. This is just stuff that I've seen over the last couple of months that I thought was interesting. It's not all technology based necessarily, but it's stuff that is useful for people who are involved in urban technology in the city to know about. And as always, topics for discussion. So it's not comprehensive. It's just stuff that I've spotted. I'm going to go through it as quickly as possible. It's kind of like a bit of a data dump, right? So to start with, Sheffield City goals. So there's this new engagement platform and process started by the council to get as many people as possible to get involved in trying to formulate what we should be doing, what our future vision is, what the goals for the city should be. And that's both an online consultation and a series of workshops, some who invite only, some more open than that, I believe. But that's literally kicking off right now. Second thing, the Sheffield Clean Air Zone, which I'm sure is going to be a topic of conversation after I finish talking. So it actually started exactly a month ago, right? 27th of February. So it'd be interesting to find out exactly what's been going on since then and how it's evolving. Of course, we saw this protest very soon after it launched. Particular notice right at the front of Stop Smart Cities dead. It's quite a challenge to people that are running smart city oriented meetups in the city. I was kind of half expecting there to be kind of like protesters at the. Are there any here, by the way? But yeah, I mean, there's obvious that there are two sides to all of these, and people need to feel that they're somehow empowered with these technologies. The issue is often that smart cities are done to people, and people think they're on the receiving end of things, and it just ushers in a more surveillance-based, a more controlled, removes people's freedom rather than what smart cities should really be about, which is in enhancing people's freedom and the ability for self-determination and autonomy. Those are fantastic topics for a very long and interesting debate, but not a new segment. The castle site transformation planning application has been launched for castle site. It looks really, really very good, right? Sheaf Park, I think, is what part of it's called at least. There's a bowling green in it. Looks really interesting. So we'll see how that develops and whether that gets greenlit. In the meantime, Pounds Park is about to open, so that's the latest new park in the middle of Sheffield, built on what was a car park previously, I think. Cole Brothers, there's 6 credible bids have been submitted to the council. I think that the updated bids, I think one of them is going in tomorrow, in fact. I'm not aware of what all the bids are. I'm aware of what maybe a couple of them are, who they're by. But yeah, really interesting to see how that process evolves and what the different visions are for the use of that building, especially now it's been listed. There's also an application going to create Bacon Island Park. Is that right? Riverside Park and a new set of homes at Neep's End on former industrial wasteland, essentially. So that'd be interesting. Food waste recycling trial. I mentioned this at the last meetup. This is about to kick off. I think it completed in November. That's something around 8,500 households were all given waste food bins. And about 90 tons of material was recycled and reused for biofuels and for other purposes. I haven't seen like a full breakdown of what the outcome was. I don't know if there's a report available. It's coming, okay. That's good to know. Notice this one. This was a motion for the council to take over control of traffic monitoring in the city from South Yorkshire Police. in order to crack down on dangerous driving at a few key junctions in the city. I don't quite understand why the council is better suited to doing that than the police are, whose job I would expect that to be, but maybe Will can enlighten us everyone else about it later on, but that certainly seems to be a thing that is occurring, that Sheffield City Council are taking monitoring of traffic cameras in-house from the police. We have a new South Yorkshire Active Travel Commissioner. Ed Clancy was appointed in February. He's basically advocating for active travel across the whole of South Yorkshire, and that he is the figurehead for all of the planning and the investment that's going on around that. The red lines issue, this is another cracking attempt to improve public transport in the city and reduce travel times for buses, especially at very busy hours, along Aberdale Road and Ecclesall Road in particular. And there's been a big kind of backlash against that from local businesses who are complaining that having red lines is going to prevent people from parking there and using their businesses. Yes, as I understand it, some of them have been rolled back and are no longer going to be implemented, but the debate still goes on about it. There's the planned city centre cycle hub. For a long time, there's been a plan to put a cycle hub into Charter Row. As I understand it, the cost for that has gone up. The cost for most things have gone up. The cost for Fargate redevelopment has gone up. Obviously, energy prices, since they were originally estimated, have led to a big increase in the cost of building materials and everything else. So the cost for this cycle hub is now running at over 400,000 according to estimates. That's according to the Sheffield Star. They're not often exactly correct, but I don't know if they were. It seemed like they're not, but there you go. There's the headline. Tap on, tap off. So there's a new contactless ticketing system. There's investment going on into Sheffield's buses for tap on, tap off. So rather than buying a ticket, you tap on with your phone or your debit card when you get on, and tap when you get off, and it calculates the fare for you. There's about £300,000 worth of investment going into that, I understand. The Sheffield Directory. There's now a one-stop website for all social care needs. So this is a really good example of bringing council public services together into a single platform for end users. So there's one place to go to for social care in the city. Decarbonise SY, so IoT Tribe, I think it's their fourth cohort, Kerry will know. Fifth for now. And it is particularly focused on climate tech. I'm not going to list all of the startups that are involved in that accelerator. Go online and have a look if you're interested. But unfortunately, they're coming to the end of the cohort of the accelerator at the moment, and all of them are too busy to come here and present, which didn't help. But it's kind of good for us in a way, because we got to see some talks that are not part of the accelerator, some really good ones. If you want to see what else is going on or some other things that are going on around climate tech in South Yorkshire, go and check out the companies that are on that accelerator at the moment. IoT Tribe is a massive success, like five cohorts of startups, all in the IoT space, all based out of the Digital Media Centre in Barnsley over the last, when did they start, like 4 years ago? Just before COVID, wasn't it? I guess a couple of years before COVID. Startup City. So on that same topic, Sheffield was voted the number one city in the UK to start a company, according to startups.co.uk. Number one, the best city in the whole of the UK to start a company, because of the infrastructure we've got, because of transport links, because of costs, house prices, talent, universities, infrastructure, community, all of those things that they measured to determine where the best place in the country was to set up a new company. Not necessarily a tech company, but including tech companies, Sheffield's number one. And in fact, there's another stat showing that last year was the best year in South Yorkshire history for new company starts. More new companies started last year than at any time in history. So that's really encouraging. University of Sheffield, they announced this UKRI National 6G Radio Systems Facility. So that is the 6G Research and Development Centre for the country is going to be based at the University of Sheffield. That's a really big deal. It's the next generation of mobile technologies that are going to be based in this city. All right. Like when I think back to the unsuccessful 5G bid from about 5 years ago, to think that we now have the National Centre for Research into 6G seems remarkable to me. But it's a fact. The National Centre for Child Health Technologies has been announced in the Olympic Legacy Park. So there's going to be a centre for health tech specifically geared at children, sponsored by the Children's Hospital NHS Trust. Sheffield Atmospheric Observatory. This was an art piece. I don't know if anybody saw this. This was Graham Turnbull's piece. Graham Turnbull runs Clean Air Sheffield. He's spoken at this event a few years ago. He built an art installation at Block Projects that showed basically keying off the air quality monitoring system that he's built. That's a kind of a community technology project that he's been running for a few years. He's built an art piece that shows how air quality changes across the city, and is particularly highlighting the use of wood-burning stoves and how big an impact wood-fired stoves have on the air quality across the city. Unfortunately, it's not running anymore. It was running for a few days in February, but it's worth just looking back on. Yorkshire Smart Water Network, Yorkshire Water and Connecting have announced a collaboration to put smart metering, LoRaWAN-based smart meters into the water delivery infrastructure to better able to identify leaks. Lookup. This is a big project that came out of the council. Mark Mobbs at Marketing Sheffield. It's a collaboration between Niantic, who are the San Francisco company that developed Pokemon Go, and the lead project company, lead studio in Sheffield was Megaverse, Ben Carlin's company. They brought this, it's an augmented reality application that's basically an art display in the city centre. So you can go and stand around, you install the app on your phone and you can see buildings come to life. So different studios have built content that appears when you look at different buildings in the city centre. The rooftops come alive with animation. It's an ongoing project. There are more content producers now creating content for the platform, basically just to convert what is a mundane, sometimes physical environment into a more exciting and interactive virtual environment and bring the two things together. So content producers, Universal Everything, was really world famous digital studio based here in Sheffield. Human Studio was another content producer. J-Wing also supported the project, and Joy Polloy, or whose name has changed, they're called, or what they're called now, damn. Anyway, go and check it out. There are stickers on the floor in the city centre. I think they're being replaced by more permanent ones because I think they rubbed off a bit, but go and download the app and check it out. Talent 2023, so this is Sheffield Digital's, this is their strategy for 2023. They're focusing on the development of professional digital skills and building the digital skills pipeline and connections between education providers and industry. So there's a whole series of activities that are going on around that. I recommend you go to the Sheffield Digital website and have a look at T23, Talent 23 initiative that's going on to get involved. All right, that's it. Just to say, please join the mailing list. Go to SmartSheffield.city. If you've got any news for me for next time, whenever that's going to be, just let me know. Info at SmartSheffield.city or on Twitter at SmartSheffield or on LinkedIn, as more and more people are using nowadays. That's it. That's all we wanted to say. Just a big round of applause for all of our speakers.